Dwane, I know they shot a high percentage, but your performance overall was a bit better than the last few years.
It was. I thought we competed. They made some tough shots. I mean, they're playing loose and free. They got a very young, talented young team, and they shot a higher percentage than we wanted. But I thought our defense was. It wasn't like we weren't in position or weren't coming in. I thought we did a better job of protecting the paint. They only had 6 offensive rebounds, which was one of our targets going in. You kind of put a finger in one hole and something else opens up. So we'll get it together, and I thought our focus was much better.
You're concerned before the game of maybe being a little bit caught up in the hype and was unfounded. You're up 23 minutes in the second quarter.
Guys came out with a total focus. We lost it there a little bit there, and I think in the second half. But at the start of the game was guys were locked in. Attention to detail was there on both ends of the floor.
You got DeMar rest tonight. Do you expect that? Is it a one-game only thing, or would you?
We'll see. We'll see what we decide on that.
Was that just to rest him, to
just
give him
to
a day
rest,
off?
just to get. I mean, Amir's had time off. Cal's had time off. He's the only guy with big minutes that hadn't had time off, and I could just see a pep in Cal's step, since he's had his rest. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see what happens on Wednesday. Because I know it's ringing hollow, but we still have to continue to work to get better. I mean, we're not, where we need to be, defensively, offensively for the playoffs. And we're not a veteran team that can, take 3 or 4 games off, and expect to come back in and keep that rhythm.
Do you get that in games, or do you need that in hard practices that they're rested up for?
We need a little bit of both. We need some practices between games, and the schedule hadn't allowed us. I think this is one of the toughest schedules we've had as far as for the lack of practice time that I can remember.
Coach, 48 wins on the season now, and you talk about all the things that you need to improve on, but what kind of evolution have you seen from your team to get to this point and tonight?
Oh, just maturity. I've seen the growth of a guy like Kyle, a guy like DeMar, handling different situations, adversity. Team make a run at us tonight. I thought we handled it in a professional way of bouncing back. You get upset that you lose in the first place, but that type of maturity, the approach, like Doug mentioned, to start the game was focus. That's something as a growth, maturity. Again, we starting 2 young kids. DeMar's in his 5th year, and so that in itself is a growth I've seen in the 3 years I've been here, and that's very rewarding. And and again, the great part about it is the future is bright for DeMar and Terrence and JV.
What are your thoughts on the way that Gravis handled his start in place of?
I thought he did a good job. He did a great job. Teams try to go at Gravis defensively, and he's a smart player. He handles the ball well. He sees the floor. He and Nando both are very clever in the way they see the ball, and that international play really helps in those situations because they've been playing basketball for a long time.
Threes were obviously flying again and falling for the most part. Is that just evidence of better ball movement than you've seen?
We're better shooters, we're better makers. That's the difference. I think I've always said you can shoot the 3, but you need the makers more so than I think our guys are pretty comfortable. We have some guys out of rhythm a little bit. I think Pat needs to continue to work on get his rhythm back on his 3 since his injury. But everybody else is knocking them down and making them. And the key is the type of 3, the rhythm 3s is one I like. Sometimes the ones in transition are a little questionable, but we'll take them.
If you win on Wednesday, it's a good chance you'll play Washington. If you lose, possibly Brooklyn. I mean, you mentioned you might rest DeMar, so how do you go into that game knowing?
Again, I'm more worried about us more so than who we play. Again, it's about us. About our health, the rest, what do we decide to do in that situation. If we play Brooklyn, we play Brooklyn, we play Washington. There's no easy teams that are left in the playoffs right now. All the teams are very capable. Brooklyn's probably more playoff ready, but we can't control that, and I'm not going into this game trying to control that. I'm more worried about our guys' health, rest, if we rest them, or rhythm, and it's a fine line between the 2.
Thank you.
Thank you.